What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This week on the show, we have the amazing Jemma Lea Bevan. Me and Jemma have been chatting shite to each other for years and years and years. She is the awesome owner of Social Gems. She absolutely smashes it out when she's creating content for her clients, and she knows exactly what she's talking about. This episode is literally full of takeaways that you're going to be able to use with your business and with your brand today, tomorrow, and the next day. Check it out, the awesome Jemma Lea Bevan. And we are live! Welcome to another episode of The Jaylee Show. Thank you for everyone who got in touch over Christmas. We took a nice big break. We've come back with one show, and good to have you all back because we're kicking off the year big. Huge, loads of big guests in January. Love it. So this week we have returning the lovely Jemma Lea Bevan from Social Gems. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Yeah. I'm all right. I suddenly went really big and said script and the whole live thing. We've been chatting beforehand. That new intro is good. We both had a little dance. I'm almost out of breath.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I actually had that moment when I was like, shit, can people see this?
I don't think so. So, Jemma, how have you been? It's been like a year since you've been on. Normal year?
I think not long.
Maybe.
I've been like a year. Oh my god.
Well, show's been running for a year, and I know we're on pretty early, so it's getting towards there. So how have things been?
Mental. So lockdown, homeschooling, not seeing parents, not being able to go anywhere, cabin fever, and on top of that, what I'm now naming the social revolution. So yeah, really busy.
What I like is no matter how hard it gets, you're always positive. and if you haven't checked out Jemma's content as well, like it's so good. I was saying beforehand, I end up down awesome little rabbit holes after watching such like a bit of content where you're lip syncing to a tune or different bits. I end up falling down a rabbit hole for the whole day, and that's my songs of choice that are pumping out here, and I'm upsetting my poor wife the whole time while she's trying to be on important calls with important people.
then you in other round. 10 down for what?
Well, she's sitting there doing project management and confirming budgets. So what's changed? What's changed for Social Gems?
You know,
everything's changed for everyone, right? So what have you had to like change and adapt over the last year?
So our major issue has been dealing with our workload. So we have loads of people contacting us all the time about helping them with LinkedIn, which is great. Tried to put a waiting list in place at one point because we were just inundated with leads.
Wowza.
People were like ringing us up and going, "Can we jump the queue?" And it was like, "It's not a marketing tool, not a marketing plot, guys. We're genuinely struggling."
It's not a going out of sale offer that stands forever.
Yeah, or like, oh, I didn't think that through. And then, yeah, we added Sarah. Sarah's really good on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So we started offering those platforms.
Amazing.
David, our dinosaur. He's an old guy that is absolutely fantastic at writing, but when it comes to technology, he's not the greatest. He's a lot better now. We actually taught him voice notes on WhatsApp last week. The highly amusing part of that is he actually sent us all a message saying, "Anyway, what am I talking to you losers for? I can do it on my own now. I'm off to make a TikTok."
Training done.
Yeah, like boom, mic drop. Don't need you anymore. But he's really good at blog writing, so we started offering that as well because we've been working with a few digital marketing agencies, helping them market themselves on LinkedIn and second tiering for a few. So we've learned a lot about like digital marketing, search engine optimization, that I didn't know before, and how like the blogs and the website actually works in conjunction with some social media platforms. So yeah, learned a lot and added a lot.
But the awesome thing is with all those bits is I'm sure that none of it was foreign concepts. Like everything, you know, the reason for having blogs and such on LinkedIn makes sense. But then just when it's applied to like, oh, by the way, it also has huge benefits over here. Okay, well, that's actually a bit more of a priority for us then if when we're going over everything, because it opens the eyes up to that. But I like it because every time I learn something like that, it bleeds down into everything else we do. Everything else we know. It's like, wouldn't that mean that? Yeah. So how have you found it then? You know, like as we said last time, it was very LinkedIn focused, and LinkedIn is the place where you've got that waiting list, right, where you're bringing in the ridiculous amount of business. Have you found it learning the nuances of the new other platforms?
I quite enjoyed it, to be fair. So I've been listening to Sarah a lot. Me and Sarah have been working together and doing a lot of research just to make sure we're offering the right things. Obviously, we've got friends like the likes of James Austin who specialise in those platforms anyway that tend to help us out too. I've always been nicknamed the Geek in any place I've ever worked, and that's because I have to research everything. So that's how like LinkedIn came about in the beginning. Someone just this platform, and I'm like, well, why aren't we using it as a sales tool? And back then there was about 3 or 4 different articles, and you had to really bloody search to find them from people saying, actually, you can do this.
I remember you saying, but at least that education, you see, I like to try and do something and work it out when doing it. You sound like you do a bunch of research, and then when you kick things off, they kick off big.
Oh yeah, like Josh says to me all the time, I'm an absolute machine because I don't know how you do it. Because there'll be like this week, I've opened my laptop at 7 o'clock every morning. The earliest I've shut it's 10:30. And he's like, I don't know how you can sit there all day and then just go, right, that one's done, move on to this. Right, that one. And he was like, and then you're on a call, and then you're on a training session, and then you're writing content. And he's like, how can your head jump around like that? And I'm like, oh, it does anyway.
if anything, this is at least focusing.
Yeah. I've got the attention span of a gnat.
Well, and I got to admit, that's where Tony works. My co-founder, the producer who's on the call. He prefers to spin lots of plates. Like he prefers to have like, I'm doing most of that, some of that is basically done, 2 of those, and then swing back over and be like done, and then there's that thing. And I guess especially with it when it's production based, there's lots of like, cool. So I'm going to hit render and just sit here for a wee while. I'm going to move on to something else. Like just jump into it as opposed to letting the mind quiet. I don't know how people like you do it. I'd be confused. Everything would be dropped.
I'm not even joking. So I've had a catch-up call with a client this morning. I've done a training session. I've created 2 videos for another client. I've set up an event, then fed Charlie some lunch, and then been on this wheel.
Easy. All in the morning's work for a working mum. Boosh.
But you just have to get used to it, because I think being a mum and being a single mum back then actually helped, to be fair, because you just get used to being sleep deprived. You're like, I'm used to it now. It's been 3 years. What's sleep?
You've done 2 jobs. I'm always doing 2 jobs and do that full-time job and that full-time job.
Right. You do just like that.
And how's it been, right? So you've been working from home for 9 years, but over the last 11 months, you've had a couple of intruders working in your space too, with the family there. How's it been? Like, it's. I guess you're going to have a lot more stuff in place than the rest of us to actually have dealt with this, like a nice office setup that looks comfy and delicious and not kitcheny. But and that's. I know a lot of people who have been like, I need a desk. I don't have one of those at home, and I need this, the next thing. So I guess you've got all those taken over. But how is it suddenly then, with husband, family, homeschooling happening in your office?
See, we're quite fortunate. Charlie doesn't really like school that much. He doesn't get a point of it. But if he'll be like, right, I know my mum's got work to do. My mum works really hard, and he's really understanding of things like that. And even with the videos, some people might think he's forced, but he genuinely wants to help. In his eyes, he's helping mummy create a big business and making her the best boss.
Amazing.
So yeah, we've got the easiest kid ever. He's like having an old man.
I remember I grew up the same. I grew up in with my mum raising me, and like it was always for us. It was jobs. She was like, "Your job's school, right? That's your job. I got to go and do these bunch of jobs and stuff, and then I come home, and then I'm your mum as well, and that's my job. Your job's got to be school." And that was so I was the same thing. I'd be like, "Just going up to do my job," and apparently they'd all be sitting downstairs, being like, "He's just gonna go and do homework." It's work. He's putting in overtime. Yes.
Well, to be fair, we had a similar conversation with Charlie the other day because we've given him live, on Xbox. Wasn't something
cool.
at his age, but given the fact that they've been in lockdown, he's an only child, it's a way for him to still keep in contact with his friends. And from my view, they're typing. So they're learning how to spell and put the correct grammar in, because the friends can't understand what they're saying anyway. And yeah, we found that works really well, but it's also led to conversations of, "Hey, mummy, I've just seen this thing and I need this extension pack and it's only £6 here. Can I have it?" And then because you're doing something, you go, yeah.
Sure.
This one's 80 pence. Can I have this? Yeah, no worries. And then you check your bank account at end of week and it's like 35 quid on Xbox. So I went, "We need to have a sit down, Charlie." And he went, "Oh, okay, mummy, what do you want?" And I went, "I think we need to be doing some chores for this." And he went, "No issues." So now he helps clean back, washing in, takes washing out.
I mean, that's amazing though. But getting the idea and being like, cool, well, I do want this extra Xbox Live awesomeness. Chores sound awesome. I'm in.
It does need a new outfit.
Maybe I'll get the marigolds on and go and give the bathroom a little once over.
You can definitely tell when he needs something. He'll go, "Hey, mummy, I've been thinking. Not bad. And I just wondered if you needed any help." And I'm like, "I can see straight through you, kid." You like this. He actually said to Josh the other day in the kitchen, he went, "Josh, I'll give you a life hack." And he went, "Right, okay, what is it?" He went, "When everybody asks you, is your dinner nice, you tell everybody that best cook ever, and you have an easy life." And I'm like, "It's got a point, you know."
It's a horrible lesson to learn when you're like, "Nah, it's all right," you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love this food. Best food anybody's ever given me ever. And I'm like, charmer.
He's set up in good stead with you two. He's set up in really good stead. So, how did you find Christmas? We were saying beforehand, everything's super hectic. What did you do over Christmas?
Yeah, chilled.
Yeah, the full big C, the no social, the no email, the lockdown, the look up from your phone moment.
We got a puppy, so Charlie got a puppy just before Christmas, and I pretty much spent 2 weeks snuggling said puppy and not giving about anything else that was going on in the world, to be fair.
I did the same thing, and it was so refreshing. Like, it was so refreshing just after such a hectic year and everything going out, being able to throw all of the, like, this gets released, that often, this gets released, we've released that, so don't forget, we got to drop this, dropping all of that off, saying to everyone with the content, like, don't worry, it's cool, we're not gonna do it. I didn't do any live shows, cut everything off as of December. Wasn't full on holiday mode. We worked our asses off until the 18th, but then just took off the whole time. And it's great because I came back in and, like, cared again a little bit more, like, wanted to do it. Like, I was like, oh, what's on LinkedIn? Yeah, as opposed to LinkedIn, do it, make sure I'm on putting in the numbers.
I noticed that. I found for the first time ever, and bearing in mind I've been all over LinkedIn, never missing a day ever posting for like 9 years. And this Christmas, I just went, I can't do it. I need a break. I'm actually looking at it, and it's a job, and my job is a job. So I definitely need a break. I just need some time to think. I had a week or so where I just didn't do anything. And then I came back and I'm like, whoa, there's that idea. There's that idea. There's this idea. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been fixed.
And I didn't even know I was broken.
Yeah, didn't even know I was broken, but clearly I just needed some sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I slept like a baby. It was awesome, mostly because of all the hangovers from drinking ourselves silly each day.
Future.
Yeah, it was so good to get that little taste in, just of like, no, don't need to wake up at a certain time to make sure I'm around to do post bits and pieces. But the rejuvenation, I think, is found. I've seen it from everyone. In fact, it was the Blue Monday or whatever it's called the other day, and I spoke to a whole bunch of people. Just happened to be one of those days where I spoke to a whole bunch of different people. Everyone seems super positive this year. I think, it's been so hard. It's not a case of like, oh, hell to be back. It's like, good, I'm back into it. We're doing good. We got this in place, that in place. January's kicking ass, which was nice to see, as opposed to dragging everyone through the the Moody Monday.
We found it, to be fair, so we expected to drop off a bit in January. So one or two clients before Christmas, and I just went, do you know what? For best, we all need a break anyway. Let's just come back January. with a fresh mindset. And yeah, we've been like, I expected us to get like 1 or 2 leads maximum. Yeah, we had 12 just last week.
Wow. It's the third week of January. People would kill for that in a month of the Sundays.
Yeah, I think it's what's happened is because of everything with COVID, everyone's kind of sat there and gone, well, cold calling's not working. We can't really get through to people. Most of the time we can find numbers for people. When we can find the numbers, it's for the office, but no one's in the office. They're all working from home. So how else can we reach out? And I think a lot of people actually, from spending that little bit more time on LinkedIn over the last couple of months, have noticed conversational marketing, and that the conversational marketing is the only type of marketing that actually works effectively.
Yeah, and everything else just seems a bit cheesy and kind of forced. And what's the point? Like, unless you are a motivational speaker, unless you are shouting about that bit, like not opening the conversation and trying to say hello to people, it doesn't make sense really for everybody. But everyone can have a conversation, and we should.
Exactly. I mean, I had one the other day. I'm going to screenshot it actually later in the week and show it because it's too funny not to. And this guy sent me a message saying, we help with social media platforms. If you are actually trying to look into social media now, give us a call. So I just responded with, you know what, mate? You've contacted me at perfect time. I've never actually done anything from LinkedIn. As you can see from my profile, it's not something that I do. So send me a couple of examples over because it's something we're going to implement this month. And
what did they reply?
He actually sent me example of work, right? I'm not joking, right? And then put, we extensively research your company, to which I responded with, it'd have been a good idea to do that before you sent me a message though.
And was there information based on your output? Had they researched your company?
No.
That's so bad. What's the point? I just don't get the point. I just don't I wouldn't make a phone call like that. And back in the day when it was all blah 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 blah, and I wouldn't call someone up and be like, "Hi, you interested in this thing?" And then be like, "Ha, we do that," and be like, "Yeah, I'll send it over right now. You got it. Coming over to you. I'll chase you in 2 weeks." I don't see the point. I just don't see surely it's a waste of time, unless it's just like people putting in processes or like low level people being like, I have to do something for 9 hours a day, 8 hours a day, or whatever. So I'm going to send out 1,000 messages.
Yeah, but even when I used to have to do that. I was person that were like, right, you've got to contact 80 people a day. You've got to have conversations with 80 people. You need to close this per day. So me being that person, me being me, I'm just put in the subject, oh no, another sales message.
Uh-huh.
But exactly, it makes you laugh and you go, actually, she's an annoying book, so I'll respond to her.
Yeah. Even if that is to say, yes, it is, and I don't want it. Great, cool, peace, because I don't have to bother you. I'm out. Thanks. Appreciate it. By the way, just so you know, it is this. It's different, but I'll see you later.
But you're right. It's like you can send messages saying buy my shit as long as you're open and honest about what you're doing. Like a message saying, and this one really annoys me, and I don't know who's told them that it's a good idea, but when they put, I reached out to connect with you because of your recent post. I found it super enlightening. And you go, all right, which one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know which one. I've just been told to use that line.
I know, but at very least, right, when you're releasing, you and I are easy targets for that. There's genuinely, you could go, oh no, click. The one about people contacting people badly. Ah, Jesus. Right. Or whatever, you could respond. You could have a quick look and see that and do that. And the fact that people don't, it's just like, I don't see that this process can't work. And who does it work on? Like who is like, great, thanks again for sending me those examples I didn't ask for and trying to book a meeting. Why have you sent a Calendly link the first time we spoke? Were you kidding me? No.
We're actually working on a video. I had this idea yesterday, so I've got to create it, and I'm getting the team involved in it. It is literally going to be us responding to each other as in person, but as though it was email. So it'd be, oh, good afternoon, Gemma. I do hope you are well. And then literally, because the thing I want to portray with that is you don't talk like that in person. Mm-hmm. So putting it on a social being the key word media platform and thinking people are going to respond to that. Whereas you get more response if you put, yo, mate, how you doing?
Because at least they'll be like, Nat, don't work with people who speak like that, or like, you know, oh, what's up, bruv? Like, you know, and I am someone who will work with people like that because that's how I speak, right? I'm constantly putting groovy in and stuff like that, and people like, I don't know, it's just how I speak. I know it's messed up, like I can't help it.
My name I used to get told all the time because I put lovely and sugar in things that it's so unprofessional, and I'm like, but it's personal,
Yeah,
and personal, like you're wanting people to buy into you. So
and
you've got to have some of your personality in it.
yeah, and also like, are you saying that I'm unprofessional? Like, yeah, I'm putting those words in there, but you saying that like I'm unprofessional because that's how I speak. So why wouldn't it go into an email? It's okay to be personal and professional at the same time. Like I'm definitely not like I was back when working in IT. I'm definitely not turning up to meetings like that anymore with the full suited and booted and talking to people and make sure I shake hands with the right guy first and all that thing. I'm like, what's up? Let's make some video to the same people. Right. I'm talking like that to the same people. And they really respond because they're like, oh, how great. Yeah, let's make some video.
Do you know the best thing I can tell you is there is 3 people that I write content for and have done for over a year that I used to do their payroll for when I was a business development manager in payroll. The other person, another one of those people, is my old boss. So it's literally when we're actually talking and actually saying these things of that personal level stuff, it works. And the reason my old boss works with me is because she'd go, Jem, do you think this is a good idea? And I go, no, I think it's fucking shit. And I'll tell you it's shit. Rather than going, oh yes, Mr. Director of Company, absolutely everything you say is correct. And I am going to bow down. No, I'm going to tell you what my opinion is because you pay me for my opinion.
Yeah. And I'm not going to spend 4 emails being like, love your idea. Love it. Love it. Now, what if, you know, maybe in a different, I mean, you know, we should go with your idea, but why bother? Why not just come back to people? Because ultimately it's what everyone pays you for, right? Everyone pays everyone for their opinion and them to put their contribution in. And you want people to be like, hate it. And sometimes the answer to that is like, yeah, I know, but it's tough. And be like, cool. I still hate it, but that's cool. Let's get it done.
I understand why we're doing it now. Doesn't mean I like it, but I get it.
Yeah. And you know, unless I can think of a better way of doing it, I'm going to go ahead with it, you know. But it's about relationships. And the thing I try and liken it to people because they kind of get the idea is it's like meetup events and the business over breakfast things and BNI. And you would never, ever walk over to someone with a croissant in their hand and say like, hi, Jay Ludgrove, we provide digital marketing, social media, we provide content for each one. Podcasting's a big thing. We do videos, great. We got these kind of results. Does that sound of interest? Because they were like, look, well, I need you to go away.
Breakfast, mate. Yeah, for pre-breakfast. I'm not here for any other reason.
Yeah. So what you walk up and you say, hey, nice croissants today, right?
Yeah. Or how did you get down here? What journey? Did you get kids or far right to school?
Yeah. Geez, these things are early. Whatever, right?
Like, why do we do this to ourselves? Who thought 6:30 were a good idea?
Right. All of a sudden, just by doing yeah, and just by doing that little open, you've immediately like put each other on. It feels like rapport was forgotten at some point. The whole concept and the whole sales thing being built around rapport, it felt like it got lost when it became social, and I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not. So I used to actually go to networking events, and I've got 2 issues with networking events. One is the people that come up to you and do try to go, I do this, I'm amazing, you need to buy my stuff, I'm more amazing than anyone. Seriously, there's 3 people in this room, 3 people in this room are already working with it. And then there's the other people that walk in and go, where's my friends? Where's the person that I know? And then stay with them all day. And it's like, right, okay, that's not networking.
No.
So, to me, and I when I went to the British Institute of Recruiters, I was planning networking events.
Right.
And I completely switched it on its head. So instead of you're all going to be in here, we're all going to pass leads to each other, claps for so-and-so for passing a lead that's never going to convert to business. We're going to do a scavenger hunt, which will literally, because those people in there are business owners and sales professionals who are all inherently competitive.
Sure.
So, right, you're in a room, you've all got a token. Or whatever token you get, you're in that team. And in that team, you've all got to work together for this end goal to beat that team. They're all going to talk to each other just to win.
Yeah, sure.
And
they might even buy something like.
Well, that's the thing. It's taking away that pressure. It's like when my clients come to me all the time and go, I want to do a networking event. Well, why do you call it a coffee morning? Why? Because there's a stigma around the word networking event. As soon as you hear networking event, everyone's head does go to the BNI for everyone. And a lot of people find it sickly.
Yeah. And I remember from when we were talking, you know, every time we've spoken, but like, I stopped having to go to things like that because I lent into social. But the reason that I could just about muster to make some use out of when I had to go to networking events or award ceremonies when we were hosting a table full of the clients and you've sold everyone a ticket, an overpriced seat. So everyone's got to have a good time. It's like, have a drink with 10 people, but don't get messed up. Yeah, we'll do. Somehow.
We once went to a networking event near Silverstone, and I can remember my boss going to me, you will be carrying the guys to bed at 3 o'clock. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to look good. I'm really going to think that's going to give us the wrong impression if I'm the one carrying them to bed.
But then it just becomes like those networking events as well. The thing I hated about them was it basically does as well become a lot of the time like drinking, essentially a drinking competition that you're having with your professional and personal self. Damn, I can drink a lot of my friends, but I say some stupid shit. So but then again, I haven't spoken to that client yet, and he's all on his own, and he needs a drink, and it ends up, I detested it, and literally I just didn't find that I got like value out of it. And especially networking events for networking sakes, when it's like, cool, so we all spoke last week, and it didn't change because we can do this via email at this point. Like, we know each other. We've met, you know. But taking the ideas of it, the basic social interaction, I never understand why people lose that then in their message. Saying what's up, remember that from the 90s, is so much more powerful than good afternoon, Jemma Lea Bevan. Right?
Starting with Jemma Lea, so you know, don't see anything I do because otherwise they call me Jem.
Nice. Jemma Lea, like you're from the south of America.
Responding with, "Hi, Jemma Lea. Yes, Mum."
I did. For some reason, I just sat up. So on LinkedIn, have you been? Obviously, everyone got stories a few months ago. Well, I say everyone in the UK. For me, I haven't really leaned into it yet. I've just been kind of sitting and watching, seeing what people are doing. You've done a lot more than me, an awful lot more than me, and a lot more than other people. How are you finding stories? Like, what kind of success are you getting?
So I use them when I remember that some days I get busy and completely forget, I'll be honest. But you do get like 100, 200, 300 type views on there, and it does tend to, especially, I think it's going to work for the people that have got a smaller network and they're trying to build it up. And the main thing that is, it starts dialoguing messages. So what you tend to find is if someone likes what you've put on your story, they'll send you a message. Now, whether or not that's just a thumbs up or a heart, it's a conversation, it's opening up dialogue with someone, and you can take that somewhere else. So to me, it's just another avenue for people to sell through.
Yeah.
Obviously, with conversational marketing, actually just trying to get to know people first before going buy my shit because it's the best shit that you've ever seen.
Sure, but at least if they give you a thumbs up, you can start that conversation. And so once they've given you a thumbs up, just hitting thumbs on the stories, then you've got a message from them in Messenger. That is a reply from them, and even if it is, like you say, just the emoji, that conversation just opened up. And the thing which drives me nuts, I see so many people do, is they'll get an opening like that. They'll get someone to have said hello. That is when you're at the networking event, the shy guy who's sitting eating like that, when he looks up and catches your eye, right? That is that moment. That's worth you being like, hey, come on and say hi. You know, and when people will just respond to it with like sunglasses, you know, dancing lady, whatever, like just an emoji in response. Like, use that as a thing. Someone just reached out and did the human connection thing.
Yeah, and
in what?
See, this is what I said. So on the training session that I was doing this morning, the guys were going, so we're getting a lot more engagement now, Jem, after first the training session. But what we're finding is that it's a lot of time to respond to all comments. Do we have to respond to all comments? And I just went, right, okay. And I went, imagine we're at a networking event. And they went, yeah. And I went, and you walked up to me and went, hi, Jem. I went, and then I just went, And they went, oh, yeah, get it now. I went, essentially, it's like someone walking up to you and starting a conversation and you basically forking them and walking off.
Yeah. And I'm out. And peace. That's it. And exactly that. Or it, how often do you see people do a great speech on stage at that kind of conferencey event type thing? They do it, and as they come off stage, they got a group of people around them, and the whole room empties, but they got a group of people around them. That speaker doesn't leave. They're not like, okay, see you later. Pretty big deal, Got to go. They wait, and they end up talking to every single person. Like I used to film a lot of those events. I'd be in the room after everyone's left, and that speaker could still be just entertaining conversations with 10, 15 people or whatever, because that's the point. Like you've just posted something out there to a group of people who should be, hopefully the right people to some degree. The least you can do for every comment is say hi. Right. You're not going to promote anyone else to say hi if you don't say hi back.
Exactly. The last networking event I actually attended, I was there at about 5:30 on the last day, and I was about 4 o'clock it started getting dead, and I was bored. So I just literally stood there going, free hugs, anyone? Like, someone, just come and talk to me, anyone.
I gotta admit, the last one I went to was for my previous industry. So it was back to IT, and I knew a bunch of people, but I hadn't seen them in 4 or 5 years. And it was it was like February, I think, last year. The whole world was still open. And I absolutely choked. Like I've done 1,000 of those and been no problem being like, hey, Jay. And even if I don't know, people be like, look, I'm on my own. Do you mind if I join the conversation? And people aren't negative to that and those events. They're like, sure, what do you do? Like, come stand with us for a minute if you do it. I completely choked and was stood at the bar and sitting there being like, is that 2 gin and tonics? Is it 4? Because by the time someone talks to me, my answer might be like, JJ.
The last one I attended was actually in February as well, and Mark Gaisford was there recording me. I didn't even know he was recording me. So there is literally a video of me from that said expo Mark going, what we're talking about? And I'm like, I thought we're just hugging. He's special. Although it's me, innit?
Yeah, well, hopefully the last year and such is going to start to teach people. And like you're saying, we're seeing a lot of everyone I'm speaking to who is in this space is starting to see a lot of people turn around and say, like, how do I get my message out there, and how do I push for it? And hopefully people start to learn. It's almost like etiquette. So it's almost like learning to talk because it's a new thing. And the surprising thing is that you just have to talk like yourself. Like your voice is the right voice.
Do you not find it amusing though when you actually say, when you're speaking to people about this type of stuff and they're going, I don't know how you do it. You're so intelligent. And they're like, how do you come up with all these ideas? And you sit there and go, I think, what do I want to read? What do I want to see? That don't make me intelligent. That just makes me self-aware.
I'll search the things which I can't find. And, if some people have posted out some bits of it, I'll look at it, I'll read it, I'll watch it and be like, there's some good points. What do I think? And that's my message, because I'm not smart enough to come up with it on my own. I'm sure of it. I'm not, but I know what I'm interested in. And with regards to the business, I know what I find interesting when I'm talking about it. I know why certain bits of podcasting make me go like, that's pretty cool over other bits. Go and find out about a bit about it, learn some, and be like, well, here's what I found on Jay's Magic Mystery Tour of Learning Things.
It was broke the name, guys.
So Christmas saw a big dip, right? We both saw it. We were saying beforehand. Suddenly, videos just kind of like pow for some reason. Do you find, and you found the same thing, right?
Massively. So just before Christmas, if you were getting 100 likes on a video post, we reached about 900 people, which is absolutely heartbreaking. Now I did my first one in January. It's currently still going around LinkedIn. It's on 35,000.
Oh, come on!
It's come back in a massive way.
So what do you think? Do you reckon more people did what we did then? Do you reckon a lot of people were just like, and I'm out, see you later, catch you 2021?
How many times did you see it on LinkedIn when we first came back, when everyone were going, and that fucking cockwomble sent me a fucking sales message on Christmas Day? Does he not know we all needed a break? that are actually gone, do you know what? That's really good initiative, that. Someone's actually that willing to work with me that they even want to contact me on Christmas Day. And they'd have seen it as a compliment before, but everyone was that much in need of that break. They got... Joe Blogs having an argument with Jill Blogs, and then somebody else is offended by this, and then everybody else has decided that they're offended by it as well. And he's an absolute div because he's put himself out here. And she sent me a sales message, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's less arguments in the kids' playground.
And they know shorter words, so not everyone's so bloody nasty as well.
No, but it will literally, like I kept saying to everyone, you could see when the cabin fever sets in. And you can see it clearly on LinkedIn when it's starting to get to people. You can see that the fuses shorten, and what normally we'd just scroll past, we feel it compelled to argue. I found it. I've actually said to Josh on a couple of occasions, I feel that way out. Why? I don't know. And what do you mean you don't know? And I'm like, actually, I do know. I feel like a caged animal. I need to go for a walk. It's like pent up anger. And then once you just get out of the house, you feel 10 times better. But
I know so many times that me and my wife have, like, you know, ended up staying in for a weekend, sitting, chilling, and then suddenly 2 weeks later we're like, or have we been out the house in 10? And we get out, and every time we come back in, we're like, oh my God, how did we let that slip? Like, how did we let that slip for a week? Oh, because we worked our absolute tails off for 5 days for 10 plus hours a day, every goddamn day. Then we did a bit on Sunday, and we did some chores on Saturday. And all of a sudden it moved into the next week, and we never made it outside. It's so important. So have you been making sure you get out, like, what, daily, or how often are you getting out?
I'm stuck a bit a minute because of puppy. So he's waiting for his in Jan next week. But I feel really cruel taking the other 2 and leaving him behind.
Well, they're gonna come home and be like, I tell you, outside's amazing.
Me. Josh just keeps telling me I keep treating him like a human, to the point where he'll actually get in bed with me and wait for me to put his arm around him, and then he'll put his paw over.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Okie dokie. I guess I'm not moving for the next however long then.
Yeah, puppy rules my life. We've literally that door, otherwise he'd be in here every 5 minutes going, but I'm here.
I know, well, our little kitten had the snip and chip yesterday, which so it's been 6 months of the windows closed, or, like, you know, a week crack, and it was the first time that he's been out of the house in all that time. And it's, you know, he's outgrown this flat very quickly in 6 months. Can't wait for him to venture into the wide world. But we opened the windows. Oh my goodness, like, he was gone for a day while he was getting operation. I was stood like Jack in Titanic in front of my windows, just feeling a breeze with the front window open. Freaking, I love that kitten, but, like, oh, he's glorious.
Dude, I haven't even got an excuse, Jay, for not leaving the house. I literally live across from Pontefract Racecourse.
Oh, really?
So I could literally just do like a 3-mile, 4-mile circuit daily.
Could do. Should have. I could do a lot of things. Could have learned another language over lockdown, right? Sure.
At Christmas, got all my presents, and I sat there and I went, well, tells me a great deal about what my family thinks of me, doesn't it? And just went, what's the weird one? Well, I got bath bombs and stuff for my desk. I went, so basically all I do is wash and work.
Maybe a little bit too much.
What's this? But what is it, Josh? Why have you bought me a doorstop? Like it's a trackpad, Jenny Spesh.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it because I don't need a doorstop.
It's lovely. Which room are we putting it
in? Just kicking it hard under the door.
Like,
So this year, loads of different pieces put in place. Like, you know, one of the many companies, thankfully, that have survived and thrived a wee bit during this lockdown because the services are kind of the right thing. What does 2021 look like at the moment?
More platforms. So literally just expanding. At the moment, the majority of the accounts we work on are LinkedIn. We're now doing Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for 2 of the clients that we're already working with. Yeah, so just more and more growth. How quickly that happens depends on how much I can handle, and yeah,
and how
basically.
much you can bring in as well, because it sounds like there's too much to do at the moment, and at some point, you can't keep kind of pushing people back. It's like, okay, well, just do you guys as well, and you and you and you. But I think what I've always loved talking to you, Jenna, is that you got a great line, right? You got a great line to be like, that's too much, and your too much is about 80% more than mine. But like, you've got the line of being able to do that and deliver without burning out. Like everyone's always said to me, you get up too early and stuff, you'll burn out. Year one of starting the business, you're going to burn out if you work like this. And year two and year three, it's like, you got to have a holiday. I'm like, yeah, we will. I'm cool. I like what I do. It's good fun. Like it's 10 hours some days, sure, but it's a good 10 hours. Like I'm not doing something where I'm like, when I wake up in the morning. I'm doing something where I'm like, oof, there's that.
I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and he was like, we've done content now. I'll expect to see it at 10:30 tonight, like I always do. Honestly, I don't know how you end up doing stuff like that, but you seem to have some really good ideas at stupid o'clock at night. And I am that idiot that will come up with a line and be that amused by myself that I will screenshot it and WhatsApp it to the client and go, look how funny I am.
We've nailed it. I've done it. But that's what I like. You've got your great escape putting yourself into people's shoes. So I'm sure that like having the other social channels and stuff delayed is just going to lead to a whole horrendous amount more of work for you, which is the biggest problem that I can wish on anyone in this coming year. So for those people out there who haven't fallen down rabbit holes because they've listened to you singing on doing lip syncing, where should people find you? What should they follow? Tell people where to get hold of you.
Just look for me on LinkedIn. I don't really do much on anything else.
That's because you nailed it on LinkedIn. That's where it is.
But if you're anything else, to be fair, literally, there's nights where I'm like that at 1 o'clock when I need to respond to people.
Maybe you can clone yourself more times and end up having the Instagram and the Facebook, etc.
Like that appearing at your screen on your phone. Like, dare I do it?
Gemma, thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely wonderful. Twice now on the Daily Show. People have had worse for murder. So thank you so much. And see you guys on the next episode of the Daily Show.
You've got to do it like you're on a Zoom. You've got to go by like this.
Oh, bye.